नमस्कार दोस्तों, काफी इंटरेस्टिंग बुक मैंने परचेस की हुई है। और ये बुक पढ़ते वक्त मेरे मन में एक ख्याल आया कि ये रीड करते वक्त मैं ये लाउडली रीड करूं और इसको रिकॉर्ड करूं और आपके सामने लेके आऊं। बहुत बार क्या होता है, हम काम में व्यस्त रहते हैं, ट्रैवलिंग में रहते हैं, तो ऐसे वक्त ये वीडियो चलाने के बाद आपको ये बुक रीड किए ऐसा आपको अनुभव आएगा। बस यही मनीषा से मैं ये बेसिकली वीडियो बना रहा हूँ। और ये आप कभी भी रेफर कर सकते हो। तो ये चैप्टर नंबर 1 है। तो पुस्तक यानी किताब का नाम है हैप्पी मनी। केन होंडा ये इसके ऑथर है। काफी अच्छा यानी बुक है। बस इसका चैप्टर 1 मैं अभी रीड करने जा रहा हूँ। चैप्टर 1, what does money mean to you? Solving the mystery of money. Before I begin to explain what money is, the better question is to start this chapter with what does money mean to you? I am sure that depending on who is asking, your answer will vary slightly. For example, if a 9-year old girl asks you, what is money? You might answer her with, there are two kinds of money, paper bill and coin. You can buy stuff with money. But what if you were explaining money to an adult? Would you say money is a medium of exchange for goods and services? While both answers are correct, you and I know there is more to money than a medium of exchange or something you simply use to buy stuff with. We make and spend money every day, yet we cannot answer this one simple question. I have asked people for years the following question: what does money mean to you? I am always surprised by the answers I receive after asking thousands of the people from countries all over the world. I never hear the same answer. It means something different to each person. I recall one person telling me money is a heavenly god, while another said it is the devil. I I have heard money explained to me by some as expression of the love and by others as the slave driver. The extreme diversity in the answers of two people to this question demonstrate that the meaning of money depends on the person. On the surface, physical money is just simple piece of paper or metal. However, even if all the people around you have the same faces printed on those pieces of paper and the same design stamp on each coin, it's incredible how much variety there is in the meaning it holds for each of us. When looking at the coin, some people will feel anger rising up, while others will feel joy. But what's really interesting is what we don't have the same emotions, reactions whatsoever, even when looking at a toy money made for children, except for perhaps monopoly money. Why? Because the types of emotions, reactions we have when playing the game, for the most part, are fairly consistent with how we react to a real money. Since we often play the game Monopoly to win, we approach that money with the same energy and attachment we do when we spend money in real life. Who among us doesn't want to win? Or what we collectively think of winning in real life? Earning more money, owning desirable properties, not having to pay a lot in income taxes, and avoid going to jail. Who among us doesn't rejoice at the surprise surplus of cash or payout of dividends when the chance card says we have won it in the game of Monopoly or in the real life? In other words, whatever our feelings towards property and money are in real life, we will attach those same feelings to monopoly money. Now, how do you feel about owning property, paying taxes, paying rent? Are you conservative in your purchases or do you go all out and take risks? Play the game yourself and observe yourself and others and see what emotions bubbles up with each throw off the dice. If you want to see just how much emotional energy we attach to those pieces of paper and metal coins in real life, see the energy you attach to them when you are playing a game. I promise it will be revelatory. In my experience, the people who have the most fun feel the most confident and realizes it's just a game always come out ahead. They may not have the most money in the bank, but they remain unattached to the outcome of the winning or having the most or the enjoy the process, the give and take. They focus on feeling like a winning rather than actually winning. So, how do you want to play the money game? What if I told you money is a game? How well do you play now? Would you consider yourself to be winning? Once again, winning is not how well you do financially, it is how good you feel about playing. Unlike Monopoly, in which you move around the board in a consistent manner and pretty much know what to expect, playing with your money in a real life isn't so predictable. You are not moving 5 spaces or 12 spaces and in a clockwise direction. Most of us, in fact, feel pretty lost when we are playing the real life money game. We don't know which property is going to yield the most returns. We don't know if the house we own is going to become a infested witch mold or a tree is going to fall on it. We don't know if a family member is going to get cancer, incur huge medical bills, and lose the ability to contribute to the family income for several years while they fight the illness. We don't know if the company we work for is going to make some bad financial decisions and will have to lay us off someday. We don't know if the industry we are spent our life working for will become absolute when another descriptive industry comes in and take over. The truth is, game of money we are playing in real life is pretty fraught. Economic changes, family issues, and natural disasters sure have a way of making us feel lost. In fact, most of us feel like we have lost the game before we ever get to roll the proverbial dice. And we are told that things could change if we just work a little harder, a little smarter. So we do. Sound familiar? Chances are, if you are reading this book, you have been told these rules of engagement already. Work hard and the money will follow. Let me tell you something that you already probably know on the intentive level. People who have more money or seems wealthier than you aren't any smarter than you or working any harder than you. A lot of people in this world have worked themselves to death and never had two nickels or rub together. Let me assure you, working harder isn't the only answer. I know lot of smart, hardworking people who don't feel they are compensated enough and aren't winning the money game. And I also know a lot of people who feel they have enough and have nothing to worry about. Interestingly, many of these folks don't have more money than my seemingly wealthy friends. A tricky game because rules keep changing. The money game is an interesting one. My mentor, Wahi Takeda, had once said, there is no end in the money game. It's like a baseball. Even if you are winning in the bottom of the ninth inning, that doesn't guarantee a win. An exceptional hitter can bring everyone on the base home with just one crack of the bat. The money game is the same. Even if you are wealthy in your 30s or 40s, That doesn't mean something disastrous won't happen and leave you destitute and unable to retire in your 60s. We have all heard of the people who seem to earn enough money to last for several lifetimes but who had to file for bankruptcy. Example about the famous wealthy celebrities and athletes who have lost everything they made and died with massive amount of debt. Sometimes people lose their money because they are spent way beyond their means, but other times it's because of the rule of money kept changing. On what constitutes money change? Look at the real estate bubble of 2008. For years before that, people were told invest in real estate. That's where the money is. Housing prices soared and loans were easy to qualify for. But the rules changed. Housing market plummeted seemingly overnight. The house that people own, houses they were sure they could sell for double the price they paid, as they had in the past, were worth among nothing. People moved on a gold. Gold is golden. Financial experts say when there is a turmoil in the every other market, but when the economy is good, gold becomes just a yellow metal. What doesn't that doesn't generate any interest. We are approaching an interesting time when all sectors of the global economy are connected more than ever, but the system as we know it is falling apart. New systems are appearing every day, and even how we think of the experience money is changing. For example, these days, everyone in in financial circles is talking about cryptocurrency. It's the future and the most reliable system. And yet, there is a lot of chatter about hacking. What seems to be the most reliable system cannot be trusted either. There are so many experts and financial gurus out there claiming to know where the next best place to invest your money is or how to make more money, and many of gurus are saying the opposite things. So, what or who can you trust when it comes to a money? What, if anything, is in your control? I would venture to say how we feel about money is what we can control, and that has more to do with our feelings about being wealthy than any real estate, stock, gold, or cryptocurrency market out here. What is money really? True, there was a time when the form of money used to be a simpler, just 150 years ago, when people wanted to buy something at market, they paid in cash. At that time, they had only bills and coins. Now we have checks, bank account, credit cards, Venmo, PayPal, and cryptocurrencies. The money we use at a grocery store and the money that travel electronically on Wall Street seems very different today from what it was in centuries past. There was a time not too long ago when people stuck their money under mattresses or in safes in their own homes. They had to see and touch the money regularly to know that it was there and in their possession. However, money is just a symbol when you think about it. We really see it or touch it in the printed form today. We only need we rarely see it or touch it in the printed form today. We only need to click on one phone and see our bank statement to know that our money exists. Most of us receive money through our bank account and then we spend it with a credit card. It's a not uncommon to go days, weeks, or months without ever needing to touch cash. In most parts of Asia, Japan is the in particular, People rarely carry wallets anymore because every transaction is easily taken care of with their smartphones. Simultaneously, billions of dollars, euros, marks, and yen are being traded all over the world. We cannot perceive that the money we use every day and the money traveling around the electronic world are the same. Today, a hedge fund manager can make the equivalent of somebody's annual income in just a few minutes. These things confused us. How is this even been possible? So, where is your money? The concept of money is actually quite vague when you think about it. The money you think you have in the bank is not really there. Once you deposit your money, the banks lend it to the someone else. So physically your money is no longer there. All that remains are those numbers you saw when you check your bank account on your smartphone. Let's try this as a thought experiment. You may think you have money, but what if isn't illusion? But what if it's an illusion? As scary as this idea is, suppose you check your statement once a day and there is no money there. You haven't spent it. It's just gone. You call the bank and say, "Where is my money?" And the bank says, "You don't have any money in the account." How would you be able to prove otherwise? Do you have record of deposit made? Sure. Do you have transaction histories? Sure. But what if the bank says it doesn't have any of that? How do you prove the hours you worked, the interest you accrued, and amount of money you deposited? Imagine how you would feel if it all disappeared. Now, let's think of money you owe, colleague, college loans, credit card debt, mortgages. Maybe you feel burdened by these loans. Now, just as you imagine the money you have in your checking or saving account was an illusion of sorts, imagine that your loans and debts were illusion too. What if they all just disappeared? We don't quite have the same ang- angst about this type of illusion disappearing that we do when money disappears. Go figure. Most of us, however, trust the system we operate in. We trust that the bank will give us our money back when we ask for it, and we trust that we owe the amounts of our loans and that we have to pay them. We feel the same that our money is in the bank and we feel stressed what we have loan to pay off. Now that we seem to know where our money is, we have to ask ourselves what is it for really and there where does it all seem to go? Where does all your money go? All our lives we study, work hard and pay taxes. But after paying all these bills, most of us have very little at the end of the each month. We have college, college loans, car loan, credit card debt, and mortgages, all of which feels like an enormous burden with no relief in sight. And then, as if to add insult to injury compared to other income, there is never enough for us to spend on what we are supposed to have. We are bombarded with advertising as every turn of this supposedly must have atoms. We need the newest model of the luxury car we just bought. The old SUV won't do anymore. We need upgrades of our phones. We have friends who have traveled to exotic locations or taken their families to Disney World not once but every year, and we feel like we are missing out if we don't make the trip ourselves. There is ever a term now no for this FOMO, fear of missing out. Everyone has to case of FOMO these days, where it's a cosmetic cream or a dress or suit that will make us more handsome, more beautiful, richer looking. We just have to buy it, or we are missing out. Or we are missing out. The list is endless. New home improvement, new home improvements, new gadgets, new shoes, new experiences. It's all new, new, new all the time. We are constantly told by advertisers, television shows, and even our friends that what we have isn't good enough anymore. True, we are not going to die if we don't have any of these things, but our kids just might. What parent hasn't heard, I will just die if I don't have what my friend XYZ has, or everyone but me has. Everyone but me has XYZ gadget and I will look like a loser if I don't have it. Please, mom and dad, can I have it? And kids aren't the only one who do this. We all know someone who is always bragging about their latest purchase, and when we go back to our own homes and things to ourselves, well, this is television, which I load up until an hour ago, is cheap and outdated. I need a new one too. And when we can't afford those things that our friends have, we get confused and upset. We see people are privileged enjoying life without doing anything, or so we tell ourselves, and we get angry. I work just as hard, if not harder. I deserve good things too. We complain. We tell ourselves we are doing everything right, but we still don't have enough. It's never enough. Someone always has something better. Someone is always doing more. Something is not right. It's a just not fair, we say. When my daughter was young, I moved my family to Boston for a year for my daughter's education. At the time, she didn't speak much English and came home one day and asked me about the phrase she kept hearing throughout the day. She said, Daddy, everyone said this one sentence and I want to know what it means. I asked her what it was. She then told me the sentence kids were using all the day was, it's not fair. I couldn't help but smile. Yes, when it comes to money and life, all over the world, we feel and hear it's not fair. On a regular basis, children hear their parents say it at home. It's not fair that so and so makes more than me. It's not fair how hard I work and how little I get paid for my efforts. And then our kids go to school and see the child playing with a doll they desire and they say it's not fair that she has that doll right now and I don't, or it's not fair her that he gets to be on swing for all the recess and I don't. And the teacher may have to be called in and explain to the children there is enough time for everyone to ride on the swing. Just wait your turn, or there are plenty of other toys to play with. Let's go find you one. The teacher is correct. There is enough time and there are enough swings, dolls, toys, etc. But children cannot see that. They see only what they don't have, what they aren't doing, just as their parents are seeing only what they don't have and what they are not doing. This is what we call the myth of scarcity. The myth of scarcity. People everywhere in the world feel they are not treated fairly. Many of us believe that it's a zero sum game. If someone else has something, then we don't have. We believe that if others have a lot of money, they are automatically depriving us of our money. We attach a lot of negative emotions to the money when we think of it in this way. The scarcity mindset is a belief that there are limited resources in the world, and if we don't get that we want when we want it, someone else will. We have to get it soon because it's running out. And if it's running out, we have to do everything in the power to make sure we have if before everyone else does. All sorts of negative influences drive our belief behavior when we think like this. We operate out of fear, jealousy, and greed. We take what we can get whenever we can get it, and we don't think about how it affects others or the greater good. But this way of thinking never serves us for very long, because when we do get what we want, it's still never enough, because there is always going to be something bigger, better, and more desirable out there. And if we don't have that either, we will be missing out. It's an endless cycle that keep us trapped in a never-ending process of accumulating and spending and then wanting more. One of the greatest book about the scarcity mindset and its devastating consequences is The Soul of Money, Transforming Your Relationship with Money and Life by my friend Lynette Twist, a global activist and founder of the Pan- Pachama Alliance. Lene is recognized throughout the world for the insights and her achievements in helping to alleviate global hunger, ensure women's rights, and inspire people to live lives with integrity, generosity, and spirit and abundance. She writes, this internal condition of scarcity, this mindset of scarcity lives at the very heart of our jealousies, our greed, our prejudice, and our arguments with life. Every argument, every prejudice, every disagreement comes down to the idea that someone is getting something I am not, which is at heart of scarcity. Therefore, to overcome jealousy, fear, greed, and prejudice, we must eliminate the idea of scarcity, the idea that things just aren't fair. The reason my daughter was hearing it's not fair all the day was that in every instances the children were looking at what they didn't have and not what they did. I imagine the child who wanted the doll finally did get the doll, and have to have no doubt that while that child was playing with the doll, another child had not only a doll but also a carriage for the doll. Well, that's just not fair. And the same goes for us adult. For us as adults, we have a house, we have a car, we have clothes, but our neighbors have more expensive clothes with fashionable labels on them, bigger homes, more expensive and flashier cars. They are wealthy, they have more, and if they have more, then I have no chance at getting it. They have taken my piece of the pie. But have they? Let's look at this a little more in depth. Losing our peace of mind because of money. How many dreams and marriages have been torn apart because of the money? How much peace of mind have we lost? More than we should? When I ask room full of people about stressful childhood experiences related to money, I inevitably hear something along the lines of I wanted to take a ballet classes, but my mom told me we couldn't afford it. Substitute ballet with baseball, gymnastics, ice skating, or any number of hobbies we dream of pursuing as children, and it's safe to say we have all heard that story in the form of another, in one form or another. A contrary as this sounds, those among us whose parents told us directly that we were too poor when we were young should consider ourselves lucky. Sure, we may now feel resentment towards money, but at least we don't continue to blame ourselves for our parents' money troubles. Some unfortunate children suffer needlessly and feel like it's their fault their parents are poor. Their parents constantly complain about how much it costs to provide for them. Some even go for far as to say, I would be rich if I weren't for you kids. And then there are parents who operate in a more passive, aggressive, damaging way out of embarrassment of or anger over their financial circumstances. These parents tell their kids that the reason they can't take those hockey lessons is because they never follow through or anything, or worse, they aren't talented enough and it would be waste of money. And what does child think when he or she hears that I am a waste of money? This painful distortion of the truth is more likely the unintentional result of parents' psychological issue than an attempt and manipulation. But the end result is the same. The children of these parents have to associate money with pain and suffering. They internalize it so much that they believe they are the root cause of the suffering. Talk about emotional baggages. Routing through our emotional garbage related to money. Does money help you with whatever you want to do? Or is it an obstacle that always gets in your way? Because of money, have you been unable to start your dream project or leave your unsatisfying job? Do you like money? Do money like you do? What stories do you tell yourselves about money? Do you find yourself saying the same thing your parents did about money? That's never enough. I wish I had more. I work so hard and still don't earn enough. Money, as we said earlier, comes in various forms, but it is simply an object in its simplest state. Yet, we project so many things onto money. I actually feel a little sorry for money because it is the easy target of resentment and jealousy and always gets blamed for all wrongdoings of humankind. But it's not money that's the problem. We are problem. For some people, money means security. For others, money is monster that can rip them apart of any moment. For still other, it is a symbol of freedom, or it represents the control exerted over them by their boss or parents or family. By checking whatever feeling you project onto money, you can recognize your own emotional baggages. If you can do that, you can see money clearly. Why is this so difficult? Because getting to that place takes a lot of understanding and introspection. It means digging deep and figuring out what our own beliefs about money are, understanding how you develop these beliefs, and ultimately discovering what money means to you. Three functions of money. Confusion about the money is and means to us is often closely linked to a feeling. We may feel used, discarded, or taken advantage of. We feel like life is unfair. We feel unworthy and diminished. We feel that others have more than me. A lot of these feelings results from the functions of money. Money primarily serves three functions. Most people can relate to this. We use money in exchange of something. It can be a food, train ticket, or a hour of massage therapy. These exchange functions given money power because once we obtain money, we feel like we can exchange it for anything. It is almost an automatic process or a innate desire. Since we are inherently need things to survive, food, clothing, shelter, we need means to obtain those things, money. When we don't have enough money to do so, we panic. We feel like our families' lives are in peril, and everything related to money, caring, and spending money becomes stressful. The function of saving. Another reason people want to hold on to their money is that they want to preserve its value and by extension things own value. For example, in the Stone Age, humans hunted giant mammoths. If they didn't eat an entire mammoth immediately or figure out way to store it, make use of its parts, it would decay and the work and efforts of the months of tracking the beast would be wasted. In order to preserve the value of their work and effort, they had to save, use, or trade the meat. The same goes for us. We don't want our labor to be in vain. We want it to retain its value. We want to see money in the bank after a hard work week. We want to see savings accrue after a year of dedicated services. In other words, we want to have something to show for its life's work. We want it to mean something. When we work week after week, year after year, and have nothing to show for it, we become objected and depressed and feel like our lives lack meaning. We equate one's life's worth with his net worth, the confusion of growth. This is a core of capitalism. If you deposit money, it generates interest. So if you have money invested, it grows like living thing. People who have more money get more money. This is why the wealthy get wealthier. Most of us are confused by this concept because it means that hard work and efforts have little to do with one's success. We can also feel excluded if we don't have any money left over to invest at the end of each month after paying our bills. How on earth will we ever generate enough money to accrue wealth? It's easy to see why the functions of money can make us feel inadequate or like the deck of stacked against us before we even begin to play the card game. But even if that seems true, it doesn't stop us from trying to make more money or wanting it. So if money is much such trouble, why do we also seem to want more money in the first place? Everyone, six reasons people want money. Everyone wants more money. When you randomly ask a person what they want most, they will oftenly reply money. They can decide exactly how to use it later. Why do we want money so much? What are the underlying motivation that keep us constantly feeling in need of money? Once you can put into perspective of emotional reasons of wanting money, you will start to feel more connected to your own needs and less stress about money. This is how you can be released from money's control over you. Over the years, I have observed many reasons why people think they want money. I have recognized some distinct patterns which I am going to describe as a sixth reason why people want money. There is always an emotional drive behind wanting money. But if we become disconnected from the underlying emotions, we can get stuck in cycles of trying to make money without understanding what we really need. Reason number one, to maintain a basic standard of living. We all need shelter, clothes, food to eat, and a way to cook it. In the past, people attributed their livelihood to good farmland and forest, but today it is money that believes to us the things we need. When most people are asked why they are working, they will reply to put food on the table. It is important to understand the difference between what we consider to be bare minimum and what we consider luxury. I have met many people who were making good salaries yet constantly felt like they had just enough to put food on the table and keep a roof over their heads. When I looked at how they were spending their money, they had a house at the highest limit of their peace range and new car with an expensive lease and spent a huge percentage of their monthly income on food and entertainment. They also often had home full of things they didn't actually use. The problem is that people connect money directly to a survival. So whenever they feel like they have a need, their instinct is to turn to a money and buy something. Reason number two, to gain power. Money is often seen as something that has the power to control people and make them do things. So it is not surprising that we regard rich people as powerful. But being powerful does not mean that you are in control, nor does it mean happiness. When we confuse money and power in the way we never satisfy our need to feel in control of our own lives, are left always wanting more power and thus more money. And just like there is always someone with more money, there is always someone with more power. This corruptive and addictive force brings all kinds of negative emotions and block true happiness from our life. Sometimes I meet very ambitious young people and they say things to me about how they want to build a business empire and become one of the wealthiest people in the world. But what they don't understand is that even though wealth brings some power, money is not a replacement for things like integrity, trust, and genuine love. You will never be able to win the hearts of people with money alone. I have some across many people who are powerful in business and society, but who feel powerless in their close relationships and in their own state of mind. Reason number three, to get back at others. All kinds of people, rich or poor, feel abused by others at the time. If they are poor, they feel robbed of certain privilege. If they are rich, they feel disrespected or excluded by their peers. People who feel slighted by society can then be tempered to see money as way to get revenge on those who held them back or made them suffer. But the bullies are just in their mind. The person who is really judging when them is themselves, and yet they will buy things to compete with others, not realizing that no one is really competing against them. Even people who can't afford very expensive things can get wrapped up in using material items to puff themselves up and superior to others just on smaller scale. Some self-made millionaires try to show off their wealth as a way to compensate for other insecurities. But no matter how much they make, how they may make spend, their self-esteem never improves. They constantly feel that others are looking down on them or talking about them behind their backs. Reason number four, to find a freedom. Some people think that money can buy freedom. When we think of freedom, we usually imagine a life without a job and with ability to go anywhere in the world and do anything we want and to live freely like that. You have to have tons of money. But freedom can't be bought with money. Even if you have all money in the world, if your mind is not free, you lose the real advantage of the wealth. Unless you are able to find a freedom in the present moment, you will always come back to the same emotional state even after you win the lottery to get the huge inheritance. Money can buy things that will make you feel happy temporarily, but without true fulfillment that comes from within, true freedom will escape you. The truth is that many of us have more freedom and more options than we might even realize. If we get stuck, however, believing that our modest bank account means we have only modest freedom, we are bound to miss out on our true potential for happiness. Getting a high paying job or a big contract or even winning a lottery is not a path of freedom. You probably don't need more money in the bank to free yourself. Money can attract love and attention. Reason number five, to gain the love and attention. Money can attract love and attention, but relationships gained through money are fragile and superficial at best. When the money runs out, the love, respect, and friendship go with it. And even though money can attract love, it so often has two opposite effects. People are often repulsed by other who flaunt their money or accept a special treatment because they are wealthy. And that is because money is not all that people require or want to live happily. We require the things that are found at deeper level. When you try to gain love through your money, you base all your own worth on how much you have and among and though it will impress some people, when it comes down to it, most people look for more in friend or love than just wealth. So when your money fails to create deep and lasting relationships, your self-worth will suffer and all the money you have made won't be able to improve it. People in this situation tend to start feeling paranoid about the friends they do have. They think that people want them around only because they have money. But money is what these people use to get respect and friendship in the first place. Reason number six, to express the love and appreciation. Money is just a neutral energy. It can be weapon when used with resentment and anger, or it can nurture with love and care. Money is a vehicle for our emotions and attitude. People want money so they can express love and appreciation they feel in their lives. This is an ideal reason to accumulate the money, but there is actually something we should be careful about here. Just because you don't have a lot of money, don't think you can't express love and gratitude for the people. Big gifts are exciting, but we are really moved by an intentions and feelings behind them. The amount of love given is not enough to the size of expense of a gift. We remember the emotional connections, our deep trust in people, the memories we have together, and the energy of the positive relationship turns ordinary money into happy money. So, when you do have the chance to use money in the act of love, you can be sure that it is money well invested. Happy money compounds at a higher rate of interest. The person you give it to use to generate more and more eventually comes back to you. What matters is how the money inspires action. How happy are you with the money you currently have? Are you happy with your financial situation now? Do you feel blessed and energized about the life when you think of money? Or do you feel frustrated when you think of money? Do you think the reason or choose in previous section has anything to do with your current relationship or feeling towards money? I am going to share a little something with you. It doesn't matter how much you have to make. It is your feelings about the money that determine your wealth. If you don't have a healthy attitude and you feel negative about money, then no amount of money in the bank is going to change your relationship money with money. What is your what's in your wallet? If there is indeed happy money and unhappy money, what kind of money are you carrying around? Check your wallet just as mysterious wallet woman asked to do. Even though you can't see the smile of the money physically, you can pretty much guess if it is a smiling or not. If you are happy with your work and life, your money is more than likely to smiling in your wallet. If you have your job and always complain about something in your life, your money is crying or angry in your wallet. We all want your money to smile. It isn't. Then you have to ask yourself, what is wrong with my life? You may not be satisfied with how much you make or how much you have. You may feel that your partner doesn't appreciate your hard work and complain too much about how little money you make. If the money were if money were a person, who would it be? If the money were a person, there are several persons it could have. Personas it could have. What would your money personification be? Would that person be a gentle and kind or mean and unfriendly? Remember your experience in the past. For some people, money can be a cruel force that deprives them many opportunities. Money may have given others all they ever needed and wanted. Perhaps money gave you few surprises in the past too. Maybe it came through your grandparents, a few scholarships, some foundations, or a generous honors at the end of the work quarter. If money has always been kind to you, you feel safe knowing it will always be there in the future. When people have had great experience with money, as in they could always count on it being there and trust that it will be there in the future, chances are they are having a great life. They may not be wealthy, but they seem to feel blessed. Things just work out for them. When they imagine the future, it is not difficult to see the bright one. For those who have not had good experiences with the money, I am sorry that life's been unfair. I am sorry that things weren't easy in the past, but I can assure you that doesn't mean your future is fixed or that you can't turn your life around or change your feelings towards money. Money can be a bad, but it can also be a good, very good. You may wonder why it is different for different people. You may be wondering why some people have parents who help them pay for college and always seem to have their needs met, while others struggle to put food on the table. I believe money changes its character according to the places and whose hands is whose hands it is in. Now, when you are fearful, your project fear onto money. You project fear onto money. Money is no friend to you. If you are happy, money is more likely to joyful force. It's always going to be there for you. If money has been tainted for generations with negative thought and beliefs like those of scarcity, then you can be sure you will never have enough money unless, of course, you change the energy around the money you make, receive, and give away. Each of us is stuck in a unique money dilemma. I have friends from all walk of life. I have friends who live as far away from money as possible and are enjoying their life in the forest. They grow their own food and spend only 1,000 rupees a year, $1,000 a year. They do virtually everything without money, using it only a medical supplies and miscellaneous items. They can't grow, make themselves. I have other friends who are extremely affluent and think nothing of spending $1,000 on wine or casual lunch. I have friends who are elite experts in their field, doctors, lawyers, and successful business owners who have several public companies. And I have friends who own mom and pop drugstore and small shops, work in factories, drive truck, and physical labor. No matter whom I talk to from any walk of life, when I am interviewing them, invariably they start complaining about their life and ask me for advice. And without exceptions, both the rich and the poor have similar worries and concerns, and almost all always feel overwhelmed by money, but for different reasons. The super rich don't worry so much about money at the moment, but they worry about their future. They admit they are afraid of their success may not last forever. They have seen many people who have failed on their way to the top and who have either lost all that they earn or were I had situation. They worry about their kids and complain about how they are not handling money prudently. Even all the money in the world does prevent people from worrying about money. Yet people with seemingly moderate amount also have worries and complaints. People in the middle class tend to complain about money in different way. Their biggest frustration is that demand of their money and resources is often larger than their income. They feel stretched by the pressure of expenses. This is exacerbated if they have kids. They are in constant battle with their children about allowances and how to spend money. On the top of that, they have to save for their kids' education and worry that they won't have enough money for their own for comfortable, happy retirement. On top of all this, they are pressed for time. They spend every waking moment either working for or worrying about money and how to balance it all. Those in the lower middle class often feel like they are being taken advantage of. Somebody is always trying to get something for nothing from them. They feel marginalized and undervalued in the working world. They don't think that they are rich, that the rich people who hire them realize the sacrifices they make to work hard for a little pay, while the rich enjoy the fruits of all their labor. And finally, the financially challenged and poor are just struggling to survive and can't even see past the need of to get by money. Never mind that having too much of it can cause other problems and worries. In the mystery of them, you often hear people say, I would like to have those rich people problems. You do, yes, to a poor person who is hungry, the rich person problems don't seem so terrible. Regardless of our situation and our financial status in our life, we all are affected by money one way or other. And how we react to our situation can make us happy or unhappy. So can money buy happiness? People often hear common expression, money can't buy happiness. If this is true, then why we are so many people clamoring to make more money? Do they want to be unhappy? Why do so many people want money desperately? Why do some even go as far as to commit crimes in order to get more? Needless to say, there are some great benefits of having money. When you ask 5-year-old kid what they want, they usually answer something tangible like candies or toys. But if you ask 10-year-old kid, they will say money. Money will decide what I want to buy with it later. So even young kids seem to figure out early money is like some form of magic and that can create miracles. It will turn into whatever you want it to be. I will turn into whatever you want it to be. At the same time, as no money cannot be by happiness, maybe we want to believe this to comfort ourselves when we don't have money. Yet, when we have hear that some friends won money in the lottery or inherited money from the distant relatives, we feel a pang of jealousy. We were fine moment. We were fine moments before we heard the news, but as soon as we find someone got something and we didn't, is suddenly doesn't feel so okay anymore. So we say money can't buy happiness, and we feel a little better about our plight without the mega million jackpot payout. Taking a Zen approach to happiness and money. The Zen approach to the happiness invites us think about ourselves not in terms of what we do or what we are worth or what we have, but in terms of who we are and what are we, human being? Our purpose of human is to be. What does that mean? It means being present in the moment. It means being fully grateful and aligned alignment with where our bodies and minds are at one time. If you are present in the moment, you aren't thinking about the past, your mistakes, your issues, the harm done to you, and getting angry about it. And if you are present, you are not thinking of the future, its unexpected outcomes, its potential for disaster. If you are not thinking about future, you are not anxious, you are not fearful, and you are not stressed. So much of our stress, anxiety, unhappiness about money comes from thinking about our past mistakes or harm done to us and needlessly worrying about all the uncertainties of the future. Our past and future selves rob our present selves of happiness when we allow ourselves to get derailed by these negative thoughts. Happiness then truly comes from within. So we can agree that money cannot buy happiness. Nothing can. However, I will contend that it is not easier to be a present and free from anger about the past and worry about the future if money isn't such an overwhelming force in one's life. I have interviewed so many people for my book, and not all of them are necessarily financially well off. Yet, after interviewing them all, I did come to this conclusion money cannot buy happiness, but money certainly is some of the discomfort in life. In other words, the less worry and the stress you have, the more time you have to be. In other words, the less worry and the stress you have, more time you have to be. If you have money, you don't have to worry all the time about whether you can pay the bills at the end of every month. You can treat your friends so something if you want. You can give gifts or to your potential partner. Though money certainly helps us, is not essential to happiness. There are several studies about how much our how much one earn and its relationship to happiness, and they always show that people's happiness level come goes up and their income goes up, but only up to about $75,000. Beyond this, Beyond this threshold, one's level of happiness doesn't go higher with any more income because there will be more money related stress compared to the joy that more money brings into our life. When I talk about this in New York and Tokyo, I get same response. Everyone says there is no way you can make happy living with that little money, and this can be true. The cost of living varies depending on where you live, but the important thing you should know is that making more money doesn't guarantee happiness. This make you wonder about people who make less than $70,000 a year. The truth is, I have met people who are happy even though they can barely make ends meet. How do they do it? It's because they have a good relationship with the money. It doesn't define who they are. They don't need it to keep up with the Joneses. They don't stress out about the future of things they can't control. They don't believe in the myth of scarcity. They don't know they will always have enough or what they need when they need it. They are okay with whether they are and how they are. They aren't hypnotized into thinking that having a bigger house or flashier car is going to somehow magically transform their life and take away all their problems. The they know they have something to say about their own happiness. Money doesn't control or have power over them. They have power over it. Most important, they aren't afraid of money. Afraid of money? Who is afraid of money? More people than you realize. Love or fear your relationship with money. Some time ago, I translated Dr. Gerard Jamfolsky's bestseller book, Love is Letting Go of Fear, in which contents that contents that there are two kinds of communication, love and fear. If I contend that when it comes to money, there are two approaches to it, love and fear. When you earn and spend money, you do it with either love or fear. For example, we are afraid of money all the time. We are afraid that what we have may not be enough for rainy days. We are afraid we may lose it. We are afraid others have more of it than we do, or that if others earn more or get more, there will be less for us. We are afraid we might lose our job. If we did, how would we pay all the bills? Even when we spend money, we do out of fear. If I am not spending my money, it is deliberate to a smart way, I will lose money. Sometimes we feel pressure when we spend money. We are afraid we are being taken advantage of, scammed, where we are spending too much, or what if we get wrong things and don't like it few months. We worry that if you buy one thing, we don't have enough for something it is later. Many of us let fear creep into the decisions without even realizing it. Granted, some of these fears are rational, then therefore there for a reason. When fears are tied to survival, if we mess up with money, we don't have to place to live, food to eat, and clothes to wear. Some people are born with a stronger sense of fear. or it is cultivated in their home by their parents and relatives who have negative or fear-based relationship with money, while others don't have any fear at all. It doesn't seem to cross their minds that money will ever run out. Since we are very small, we have been told do the right thing with our money. Our parents didn't even know what that meant, but it were do the right thing with your money. But it didn't stop them from saying it. We were spoiled about money, about what we spent it on, how we lost it, and how careless we were with it. We carry those fears with us into adulthood without even realizing it or recognizing how much fear it attached to our actions with money. Unfortunately, our current financial system is based on fear. Our society is based on fear. Our education system, our workplace, and possibly our home lives too. We fear doing the wrong thing and being punished. We fear what others have, what we don't have. We so we become greedy. We fear resources are limited or scarce, so we have more than we would have, waste more than we should. We fear that other children will get ahead of us and have more advantages, so we send our kids to expensive schools and then complain about paying taxes for public schools. We are fearful enough that our kids will misbehave or embrace us, what we scold them and control them. Needless to say, using fear is not a effective way to get what you want. It is often destructive and causes lasting harm. In a sense, it's not surprise that so many of us are fearful around the money. It is an automatic response. If you don't pay much attention to your mind, you will hardly be aware that fear is what motivates your actions, whether at home, at work, in your community, or it is always behave with money. What it means to have a loving, abundant relationship with money. The opposite of fear is love. To love is to have no fear that something will harm or leave you. It requires your trust and belief that whoever is the object of your love will always be there. Most of us are told that our parents love us, but their methods of love might have been expressed more like fear. Their anxiety and worry held us back from trying new things. This worry about money prevented them from letting us chances in our career, take chances in our career or relationship. Fear looks, sounds, and feels like control. Love, on the other hand, feels like the opposite. It is unconditional acceptance. It's a willingness to trust that things will work out. It feels like letting go. Love feels a lot like just being in the moment. No anger about the past, no worries about the future. You are happy to be there now. You are grateful, intensively grateful for all you have, and there, where there is gratitude, there is a joy and enthusiasm. And joy and enthusiasm make you happy. What it's like to live with a loving relationship with money. It's hard for a lot of us to imagine that what is looks like to have a worry-free, stress-free relationship with money. But let's imagine it for a second. I want you to imagine that it is a possible to live peacefully with money. People who live in love with money are doing what they love and make enough money. In fact, They often say, I have enough or I have all that I need. They may not be rich, but they truly have everything they need. They put what they love in the center of their life. They are financially comfortable, so they don't feel stress around money in everyday life. When they go to the restaurant or shop, they choose not by the price but by their preferences. That doesn't mean they always buy expensive stuff. They are just choosy. They know what they want, so they don't need to buy many things, nor do they need to buy expensive or brand name things because they are not looking to others for external validation. They are already happy with themselves, who they are, and what they want to be. Their relationship then are authentic. They hang around with the people they like, not people they are trying to impress or who are trying to impress them. They have good relationship with their family and can spend quality time with them because they are not working so hard to make a few extra dollar. And although sometimes they feel money stress, they tell themselves this happens sometimes and I am always able to get through it. It will all work out. They know how to let go stress and not control things out of fear or what could go wrong. They can separate what is real and what is not in regard to their fears. Then it comes to money. Ultimately, these people choose how to approach money. They are deliberate in the response and reactions to it. They are Zen, and we can all choose our approach to money, to our life. How? I believe it begins with the gratitude. Instead of believing there is never enough, you being thinking, I have all that I need and I am so grateful for it all. I am grateful for the work I do, the food I eat, the car I drive, and all money I make. When money comes in, you say thank you, or as we say in Japan, arigato. Even when money leaves you, you can say it again, grateful for how the money served you or what is bringing to you now. Whatever happens to you, can say thank you. Thank you is powerful phrase that will help you start to transform your relationship with money. The more you do this, the less stress you will have and the more happiness will flow through you and your money, and you all begin to see without much effort how quickly the unhappy money in your wallet starts to grow and smile and turn into happy money. This is the end of chapter 1. I decided to read this book and just to refer it in future in audio form. I am just recording it. It will be helpful for me and you also.